This is DJI's greatest drone, and I have to admit, this is by far the best drone that DJI has made for quite a while, because not only is it reasonably priced, but it's much better than other portable, small size, compact, personal drones to take excellent selfies and videos, as this thing just solely relies on AI and has amazing AI tracking. In addition to that, this is the most friendly consumer drone available in the market, in my opinion, especially when you take in consideration that you do not need to register this drone for the FAA since it's under its weight limit. So if you picked one up, here's everything you need to know from the very beginning all the way to the complex stuff, as well as I'm going to go ahead and go over some hidden features you unlocked when you have it paired to a compatible remote. Let's begin. Starting off with the basics, and that is turning on your drone. Because yes, I do have the gimbal guard on, but by simply turning it on, by simply tapping once and holding it down for 2 seconds, you'll hear like its beeps and motors waking up, just like that. Notice how the gimbal guard is actually still on. That's because this is designed to still have the gimbal guard on. Now, it's not recommended for the best picture quality, of course, take it off. But in those sunny days where you're just playing with your drone, you don't want to damage anything like the lens or anything like that, scratch it. Yeah, you could pop it out, but it's designed so it could be used even while the drone is on. I thought that was kind of cool. Now on the top portion of your drone, this is where you have access to 6 different modes. And then this button over here is your power. So I like the fact those two are separated. And then to simply launch the drone, so if we select follow, which is the first one, once you confirm, first place your drone right on you and make the camera face you. And then hold down on this button for 2 seconds, and it will start like a 3-second countdown.
Follow, 3, 2,
but if you tap again, you could quickly switch between other modes in case you messed up. This way you don't use up a lot more battery after launching it and realizing you selected the wrong mode, and make it land and fly up again. As it's doing a countdown, just press again, it will cancel the launch. And then if you enable follow mode, if you're trying to retract the drone and you're not using the app, just stop for a few seconds, place your palm out, wait for 3 seconds, the drone will confirm, and then fly towards you and land in your palm. That's pretty awesome. Just one thing to keep in mind about this drone is the camera does not perform well in a low light situation. So in a low light situation, the drone wouldn't refuse to really cooperate. So this drone, optimal performance is in broad daylight or in a well lit room. Now let's go over some of these modes up here. And it's easier to go over it if we launch the app. So here we are in the DJI app, and there's a few things you need to be aware of. One of which is when you select the mode button and go manual control. Yes, you could take off your drone from here. Just keep in mind, range is not the greatest, as it has a range I've seen anywhere between 60 to 65 feet. And if your drone loses range, the Neo will stay hovering at that spot that it lost range at, as there's no return to home function when it's paired to your phone. If you like return to home, yes, it does have that ability, but it has to be paired with a compatible remote. Again, I'll highlight more about that in a little bit. So the drone would just hover, and this can be a massive risk because if you fly it over a body of water, the drone will continue hovering until you get an established Wi-Fi connection to the drone. And if you don't manage to do that, the drone will land as soon as it's in low battery. And if it lands in water, well, it's a goner. Or if it lands in a hazard area, it's a goner. So just keep that in mind. Now real quick, if you're finding this information informative, be sure to leave this video a like, because I like to keep my videos sponsor free from any integrated ads and such. So if you also enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, as that not only helps support the channel, because I like to keep this channel powered by the viewers, not by brands, and will also aid others on locating this video easier and being informed on how they're used their product in their full potential. But now let's resume back into the app. So the app layout's pretty basic. Here's your albums, and here's your controls, and here's your settings. To select between different modes, you can manually select here, and you could change between different modes even if the drone is in the air via the app. Over these little sound waves with the audio waves right here, this is your voice control. By enabling this, you could tell it to do things like droney. I'm not going to allow it to take off. There we go. But as you witness, I was able to switch between different modes by using voice controls. If you like to see the command list, just tap on check settings, And here you can see the command list for recording, following, and safety in case you have to brake, land it, or stop the drone from crashing into something. You could also enable it so it has a wake up words too. So if you like to wake it up verbally. But exiting out there, going back into here, these modes over here, they're all customizable. And the quick overview on all 6 modes is this. This is how each of these modes look like. But the 6th one over here is customizable. As you press settings, go into custom, you have direction tracking, helix, boomerang, and direction tracking. Direction tracking is pretty popular, all due to the fact that this is the way to make the drone follow you facing forward or any position where you last set the drone to follow that subject. And in follow distance, this is where you can choose between close, medium, and far. For outdoors, I highly recommend far for the smoothest video experience, because on medium and close, I've noticed the drone gets a little bit too close. If you just pause abruptly, the drone kind of pauses and does this awkward thing for a little bit and maintains a smooth momentum. Far is the best experience for outdoor use. And then in the height, high would be ideal if you're going through bushes. Flat will be ideal if you're going through a forest. Low will be ideal if you're in a control environment like a sidewalk or inside a building, as an example, so long as you stay in a single floor. And camera mode, all these only have video modes, don't worry about that. So if we go back to our little quick shots on follow, you'll see that we have these same settings I went over with. Far, perfect for outdoors. Medium, good for indoors. Close, perfect for indoors. Just with medium, you run that awkward wrist, and then the follow height, low, flat, and high. And then for circles, which create this animation effect, here you could control the distance, how far away you want it to be as it circles around you. Rocket, same thing, you could adjust the distance you want it to go up. Max height is 32 feet. And you could allow it to do rotation or disable rotation. Spotlight, here you can select photo or video. And custom was the one I showed you earlier. And then in the video settings, this will adjust all the video settings for all the modes you selected. So 4K 30 FPS is the max setting for slow motion shots. 1080p can go up to 60 FPS. And here's where you can change between different formats. 265 takes a little bit more data comparing against 264, but in my personal experience, it's not really that noticeable. JPEG is the only format. And aspect ratio, this is good to know depending on the format, the content you're trying to create. So 19:9 is ideal for YouTube videos like you're watching right here. 4:9 will be ideal for Instagram or short videos like on TikTok and such. And then photo resolution, it's fixed in 12 unfortunately. And here's where you can manage your storage and format from here. Which reminds me, if you're trying to transfer data from your drone to your computer or your phone, a USB-C port, just plug it into your drone. And when it's plugged in, you do not need to have the battery inserted on the drone to transfer data, which is kind of cool. But on an iPhone, you simply just connect it via its USB-C cable. You can launch the file app on your device and go into the browse category. And here you'll see Insta Stow. This is basically the storage from your drone, and you could quickly import it to your iPhone much faster than Wi-Fi, in my opinion. This works the exact same way on an Android phone as well, or an iPad even, so long as it's USB-C. And if you absolutely have to, your phone can actually charge the drone too. And you can wirelessly charge your phone. But back on the app, in controls, while you're recording a video, this microphone icon allows you to actually record the microphone quality from your phone. This way, when the drone is flying, the mic doesn't pick up the propellers because it's using the microphone from your phone, which is a nice little way to record video if you absolutely have to. And then on top here, of course, remember you can move the gimbal up and down, and that's basically it from here. Now, if you're using one of these compatible controllers, like this is the RC2 that I have right here, it's also compatible with the RC3 with the little screen, as well as the FOB control setups too, including the goggles. I have that right there on the side. But when you have it paired with one of these controllers, the RC2 and the RC3, when you connect it to your mobile device, there are some awesome features that you unlock. For starters, this drone can go 12 meters per second. That's equivalent to 35 miles per hour when you engage sport mode on the controller. And if we launch the DJI Fly app and we connect to it remotely, You not only are also able to use the little roller on the side right here to rotate the gimbal, but you can also lock the focus by long holding on the screen. You have the lock focus adjustment, or you could tap on this corner over here, also quickly change between resolution or the ISO. You unlock that ability, something that's not available on the phone app by itself. And the return to home is also available with GPS coordinates. So if it loses reception from the remote, it will fly back to the spot where it last took off. And if you are using the return to home, I highly recommend going into the settings real quick and go into the safety, and where it says maximum altitude, adjust it to a height that you know it will not hit some trees or bushes, because this drone does not have obstacle avoidance. Remember that. So if you're utilizing return to home, adjust the altitude so it doesn't crash into a tree as it's flying back. Now, a complaint I've seen a lot with the NEO is the resolution when you're hitting record. You see, by default, the sharpness is pretty high up. So if you're viewing back footage, you may notice it looks kind of digitally. There's a setting you need to adjust to decrease that. Go into settings and go into the camera tab and scroll down until you find style. In the style tab, select -2. And now your photos, your videos will look more natural. Just unfortunately, when you disconnect from your controller and go back to the app, or just using the video recorder with the selected modes here, unfortunately it doesn't save. It only saves on the controller when you reconnect. So the two have different memories. Hopefully in the near future, DJI can enable it so it's available on both devices, not just a remote. But the beauty about having it compared to the remote, it doesn't rely solely on Wi-Fi. It relies on the wireless transmitter in the remote, and it's much more aggressive and better range than the phone itself. But in case you do misplace your drone, you lost it somewhere, you can always hit the mini map to locate it. But if you go into the settings and go into the safety tab and scroll all the way down to find my, this window will pop up, but on the bottom you'll see start flashing and beeping, and this will cause the drone built-in speaker to start beeping and the LED lights to start flashing to help locate it faster in case it falls in like a bush or something. Because if this drone flips, unlike other FOV drones, there's no turtle mode, so you cannot just reverse the motors to fly it back up and flip back up. Maybe in the near future this will have that ability, but as of time making this video, it does not have turtle mode. But that's all the cool things about this. Sport mode, yeah, 35 miles per hour. It's really fun actually. And with sport mode enabled, I have noticed I've been able to get around 15 minutes of battery life, which is still very impressive. Which is why, if you haven't yet picked up this drone, I highly recommend getting the Fly More combo, because each of these can last anywhere between 15 to 18 minutes. So it definitely does give you a lot more flying time. And this charger charges up in less than an hour, all 3 batteries at once. But if you're ever doing maintenance, you need to replace one of your blades, I find the easier solution to pop these blade guards out is by starting from the middle. Just pop it open like so. Like, they'll do that and it basically comes off. And then start working your way out with the other ones. And that's how it just comes off. And then you have access to the screwdrivers, the little screws right here was to provide a screwdriver. Just use that. Oops, overshot. Just use this. You'll swap the blades super easy and straightforward. But aside from that, this thing is stupid reliable. I'm really impressed. I bumped into a wall, trees and such. It's always fun. And don't forget, if you have the guards on, feel free to just grab the drone to protect it from crashing into something. There was a couple times I had to do that. No complaints here whatsoever. It's really easy to control and manhandle if you absolutely have to. And then for reinserting the gimbal guard, the lines goes on the bottom because that's where the camera goes. And this way the lines doesn't get in the way. And once you're done shooting, if you have the cable, plug it in directly to cable, the USB-C, USB-C, and you can export footage. And just like that, now you are a pro when using your DJI NEO to its full potential. In case I did forget something or you discover something new, feel free to comment down below and let the rest of us also know about these cool additional things that the NEO can do. Thank you so much for watching.